Hi, and welcome back to Watch Me with Emily Galindo. I am your host. We are here proving everybody else wrong, including ourselves, that when life throws something at you, you can say, nah, watch me. And so we are here today to talk with one of my dearest friends, Courtney Weidner, about watching her get unstuck and hopefully helping us get unstuck as well. And I am super honored. You've probably heard that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and I am distinctly honored to have this person as part of my 5. And so I would love to welcome Courtney Weidner to my podcast. Watch Me. Welcome, Courtney.
Well, thank you, Emily. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for being in my 5 too. 100%.
Oh,
100%.
I'm in the 5.
Yes, girl.
That's saying something. In your
OMG.
5. In your 5, that's impressive. I thank you. I feel honored.
You are in my 5.
Oh, I am so excited to have you, and I am so excited for people to listen to us because every time we have lunch, every time we spend time together, I'm like, it just goes in so many different directions, and I walk away from our conversations just feeling like a better human being on the planet, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, we solve all the universe's problems
If
in our
people would just
conversations.
ask us.
We do. You know, we got all the answers. 100%. Yep.
So I want to talk to you about being unstuck because you are going through a whole life transition, and the people that I talk to that I want to be talking to are the people who are stuck in their life. Like
Yep.
I'm trying to constantly, the watch me theme here is, if you feel like there's something that you're supposed to be doing and like proving to yourself and proving to others that you aren't stuck there. Like,
Yep.
and I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're drug dealing, you're serving tables, you're at a corporate job and just hate it. Like, I don't care where you are in life. That is not where you have to be.
Correct.
And you are the one person that I know that is not just doing it right now, but is making a career out of helping people do that.
Yep.
And so talk to me a little bit about Aligned and Alive and what you're up to.
Yes. So Aligned in My Life is my new business that I have just started this year. And it is the result of 13 years of searching and being stuck.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many folks out there might have gone to college, gotten out of college, gotten into a career, or started a business early in life, and you're still doing it decades later.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't really light you up like it once did, or maybe it never did, but it was what you were expected to do because this is the path, right? This is what we do, and we go to college and we have careers and all this stuff.
Are
right?
you saying that doing commercial insurance was not lighting you up?
It was absolutely not lighting me up, and it never did. So my insurance career started at 18 years old because I needed a job and my dad needed an employee.
Yep.
And that's how it started. Like
started
working
many people in
the
the world.
Started working in the family business at 18, got really good at it, never left. Became the comfort zone, like this is what I do, this is what I know. And then in 2007, my dad sold the business to me. So at 27 years old, here now I own an insurance agency and just rocking it. And this is what I do. And I had 3 employees at one time and just had a great team. And it was a great life. And it made me lots of money. And I got cool things and toys and a house and a car and very comfortable, very blessed.
Yes. Yeah. Is that everything?
And it sucked.
And it sucked.
It fucking sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Like zero joy. It brought me a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of anxiety, a whole lot of worry that I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna do something wrong. Oh, P.S. imposter syndrome. I don't know how to run a business. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I know how to sell insurance, and so I'm just gonna get up every day and I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna do the thing and I'm gonna make the sales and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna have dinner and sleep, water, lather, rinse, repeat, like the same fucking thing. And then years go by. And then decades go by. And then it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Fucking clock is ticking, people. Like, this is one ride. We get one ride.
Yeah.
How are we spending it? Selling insurance in a world that is like, no, I object. Like, they had this moment like 13 years ago when I did some personal development work through Pathways to Successful Living out of Chicago, and I got the bag taken off of my head. Like, that has to happen first. Like, the awareness of, what am I doing? I am miserable. I am unhappy. And it's all because of this. Like, I got here. It's nobody else's fault. Like, I chose to live this life.
Right.
Sucks to accept that and, like, admit that. But, I got here, and I'm unhappy because of the choices that I've made. I don't get to point the finger or blame anyone. Like, everything I ever signed up for, everything I ever said yes to, I did that. I made this bed. Like, I'm lying of this bed of misery and unhappiness, and seemingly everything's great on the outside. Like, all this success, checked all the boxes.
Oh my gosh, I remember I remember just not even, I just saw your face twitch, honestly, because of thinking of the stress that you were under. And I'm thinking back to a lunch that we've had, and you had this planner out and all of the things and all the checklists, and like I can feel your anxiety just talking about that, living that life.
Yeah.
And
it was awful. And then it wasn't enough. So I had to like open a food truck, right? And then I had this other job, and then opened a nonprofit, and I had like literally 4 main things that I was spending at one time to try and hit that success, that it's enough, like I've done enough, like I'm giving myself the kudos here, like I've hit this level of success, and it's like, this isn't it.
Do you think that you did the food truck thing because that was looking for like a passion project, something to light you
100%.
up?
I knew in 2011 that I didn't want to be doing insurance into retirement, and I knew then I didn't want to be doing it when I was 50, and I was 31 at the time. And so I'm like, okay, so what else am I going to do? Right. I don't know. Like, and so when we went plant-based years ago, and it was like, okay, well, I got nowhere to eat. Well, here's something. I got a wild hair up my ass. Yeah, sure. Let me open a food truck. Like, because that's easy. No, it's not. Don't ever do it, y'all. Don't. You have to have a special kind of obsession and love for chaos and food and just adrenaline and just crazy all the time to get into the food truck industry. So no, I don't recommend. Go work on one first. That's my advice. Always say that. Go work on one in the heat of summer in Houston before you make that decision. You're going to regret it. But it was fun, and it was a blast, and it was something different. I learned for myself. I love discovery. I love learning new things. And when I build something, I create something, I get bored with it.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah. I've learned a lot about myself in the last few years. I've been trying to figure this out. But the food truck wasn't it. That just created more anxiety and stress. Okay. It was still not the thing, but it put me around people. It was something, I created something out of nothing. I proved to myself I could do anything when I built that food truck.
Okay, well, I want to go back just real fast because you said 13 years ago you knew that this wasn't what you wanted to do.
Right.
And so the people that I want to be, impacting, that I want us to impact are, maybe they're not quite there. Like, you went to Pathways, which was like a whole, right? You left for a weekend, enrolled in this thing. Before that, even making that decision, that requires some sort of push, some
misery.
Sort of misery. Is it
discomfort,
misery, or is it the discomfort that led you to work to getting onto Pathways, or was it?
If you back that up if we back that train up a little more cars more, like I was ready to close my insurance agency. This was like mid 2011. Drank all the time, like heavily drinking all the time, every day. Was ready to close my insurance business and divorce my husband. That's where I was.
Okay. Before
I got to Pathways. And so whenever I went through that and had that experience and realized it's not them, it's me. Oh my God, oh no! Like, I didn't want to look at that, but it's like, we are the masters of our own fucking universe here. Like, I can sit here and play victim all day to my circumstance. No. Like, I have such crazy privilege, like so many of us do, and I am like not embracing it, not like
the resources that you have access to.
Yes. Oh my God. Just like, hello. Psh, psh, come on now.
Right. In recovery, we can say that, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly. Right. I'm sick of my own shit. I am so sick of my own shit. Like, let's not keep telling myself the same story. And that was the thing, was that I had these programs and these stories that said, you're supposed to keep doing this. This is what you've done. You have this business. Why would you want to get rid of it? Like, what? It's making money. Like, what crazy person would want to get rid of a business that's making them money? Because it doesn't give me any joy. That's why. It's not what I meant to do. And I know it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for the money. Ugh. That doesn't feel good. That's not happy money. It's not happy money at all.
And imagine the people who are doing it and they're not having joy, they're not having fun, and they're not making any money.
That too.
Right? Like, that's a whole nother next level of misery.
Yeah.
Right? Like, doing it all for that. Do you think that it requires misery in order to create a catalyst for change?
I hate to say that, because proactive discovery is one of my values. Now in this place that I'm in, I love to grow and dig into myself and like learn more and unpack more about me. But back then, I would have to say I was a reactive grower, right? Because like I had to hit a bottom of misery. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't know that the reason I drank every day and tried to check out from life was because I was doing the wrong thing.
Right.
Right? Just, I was doing what everyone else expected of me. Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. That book changed my life.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I was wondering, when you
man.
when you were talking about like the time the clock is ticking, Rick just literally, my business partner, Rick, you know him, he was just literally calculating, I think, almost how many years based off of like how often you sleep, and the average thing, and how old we are. And
Renee
like,
Rodriguez just did a thing on this. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and
where
like
you
how many
calculate the time.
actual years we have left on this planet, given the average age and all the things. And I was like, and he's like, what are we going to do with it? And I was like, bro, this is intense. I'm going to need you to bring it down a notch. Like
you just warped my whole brain here. I'm like, I only got 5 minutes to live my life. Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which when you were talking about the clock ticking, it made me think of you reading the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying.
And I wish I remember what year I had read that, but it was somewhere around 2017 probably.
Yeah.
It was before COVID. And so, but I read it, and the number one regret was I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life that others expected of me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally living a life that others expect of me. Like, and we can go down a rabbit hole of my unpacked autism and ADHD. That's a whole nother thing because of the mask that I've been wearing my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
And not letting my weirdness out. Granted, the blue hair.
I was going to say you're not letting your
coming out. It's been coming out. But like for my whole life, it's been like suppress. Dress this certain way. You're this persona, this professional insurance person. Like, gotta do the things. Gotta make the money. Like, just figuring out what feels right and what has resonance and dissonance in my life, and trusting that, and starting to lean into the things that feel good and feel right and that light me up has been everything.
I was going to ask, so how do we know? How do we know from a coaching perspective what is it just intuitive in your body? Like if you go to put makeup on, you did a video the other day about putting makeup on, or if you wear a certain thing that you actually check in with yourself and go, how do I actually feel about this?
And who am I doing it for? Am I doing it for other people? Am I doing it because I need to present a certain way because society says I'm supposed to look like this?
Yes. The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Ladies.
Hello.
Yes, we know. We're wearing all this makeup right now. We're not makeupless today because, we're on TV and stuff. But that's just that's the program that we're all in, right? So the thing that I had to get down to is I know I like to grow. I know I like to learn things about myself. I started reading books, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I highly recommend y'all listen to it on Audible because the author, Bronnie Ware, she reads it. It's her voice.
Oh, okay.
And she's Australian, so I love hearing. I love Talk to Me All Day. But I'm bawling like I can only read like a chapter at a time because it's so intense, and it's her stories with people in their final days of their life and what they tell her and all the things, right? Man, it'll get you. And it made me think, what am I doing? I'm still doing this insurance thing. Okay, I got this food truck. I tried something else. I know that's not really it.
Okay.
It's something else. I knew that it still wasn't it. And then I had to worry, get over myself and be like, okay, this wasn't a failure. Like I tried something. It didn't work out. I also had trouble letting go of the food truck because I built it and I built this business. And I'm like, oh, this was going to be my next thing. No, it's not. You don't want to look like you made a mistake, I bit off more than I can chew, or it's a failure or anything like that. And this friend she told me one time, she's like, it's okay if you don't want to play with that thing anymore.
Oh.
That was powerful.
I like that.
Yes. I was like, wow, you just gave me permission to close this business. You totally did. That
right,
was,
it's not a whole thing.
Yeah.
We make it a whole thing.
Made it a whole thing. I was so emotionally attached to it and all the energy that I put into it. I didn't want it to be all for naught.
But it wasn't, right?
It wasn't.
Failure is just data. It's just data.
Yep. It became a huge funnel for my insurance business because then it became the food truck insurance lady. I tried something different, got the gifts from it, learned a lot, learned what I didn't want to do, right? Okay. Life's trial and error, this we know. But then I still had this insurance business. Yep. Go right back to it. Still doing the thing. Doing the thing. On the wheel, right? Still wasn't it. And then COVID happened. Well, before COVID happened, I did another Pathways thing. This was January of 2020, and I'm going back and I'm serving and I'm staffing a Pathways seminar and got the mirror held up to me again. Oh, we have a workaholic problem. Okay, we gave up drinking. P.S. Right. Somewhere along this growth journey, I gave up drinking because I realized that was number one, killing me. Number two, it was just me numbing my entire life. Like, let's look at the real issue here. I'm doing stuff I don't really want to be doing.
Right.
So how do we cover that up and just forget about it, right? That was the reality. So quit drinking and, okay, tried the food truck. Okay, great. But now it's like, okay, I have this clarity. COVID happened, workaholism. Oh, shit. Now I have 4 businesses. How do I undo all of this? 2 months later, COVID happened. I'm like, oh, the grand pause.
Yeah.
Was the biggest gift for me because I came home from Pathways and I had a boom 7-day schedule full, and I'm like, how do I undo this? I have woven this crazy life of all these businesses and all these obligations. How do I unpack all this? How do I undo this? And then COVID happened. I was like, oh, I get to stay at home.
The universe was like,
Have a break.
Take a break.
Yeah, and so I had the choice. Either I could keep working my food truck and doing that in that world, which was my side kind of hustle, really expensive hobby business, or I could just put a pin in that and park it. So that's what I chose to do. And then that meant the nonprofit also got put on hold because it was a food truck nonprofit. And then B&I went virtual, so everything B&I went virtual as well. And so I was like, oh wow, I have a life now. I'm at home. I'm eating at home. I'm walking with my husband a couple times a day. I'm enjoying my cats. Like, this is what it is to have a life and slow down and like garden and read a book, and like it was great. I needed it. It saved my life, like, no doubt. Like, that whole pause totally helped me.
Yeah.
But then I still didn't grow. I didn't do anything. Didn't do anything for like 3 years. So 2020, 2021, 20.
So hey, workaholic, just a quick question. Why did you have to do anything? Maybe being was the whole deal, you know what I'm saying?
Don't attack me like that, Emily. Calling me out. I know.
She's like, I didn't do anything.
So here, let's see if anybody can resonate with this. So I unpacked that I have this program that being busy means you're being productive, which means you're doing something good, which means it's enough.
Which means you're valuable.
Which means you're valuable, right? So the busier you are, the more productive you are, the better that is in this working. It's okay to be a workaholic. That's the one ism that's for some is totally accepted in this country because just work yourself to death because that's the American way. No, oh my god. So yeah.
It is the American way, but isn't
it terrible?
But does it make you happy?
No.
And that's the question I don't think any of us ask ourselves enough.
Right. What's enough?
Having gone through this divorce, I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. I've probably asked myself that question more in the last 4 months than I ever have in my entire life.
And is that because you've been busy trying to make other people happy?
My entire life, quite actually.
Yeah.
Like way before the marriage and everything, like way all the way back, right?
Yeah. Those programs that we get for like from 0 to 10, all of those things that happened around us, to us, like we take it all to mean things.
Right.
Not true, but it's like
sure.
We interpret the world around us in different ways and things happen and I did this and it got me a good response. So I'll keep showing up like this. Right. Or masking or doing being whoever I think everybody else wants me to be.
Right. Mine was similar to yours in terms of like if all the check boxes of success, right? Mm-hmm. Marriage, house, kids, successful career, all of those things, and you still turn around and you go, and I'm not fucking happy.
Yeah. And let's get the bad. Oh, you ungrateful bitch! Why aren't you happy?
Yeah. Let's do that. Like, how dare you? Like, what else is there? What could you possibly? And you're like,
feel guilty for not being grateful and happy. And
right. And I mean, for me, I think I took a lot of. It was always the next thing. I wasn't happy because I wasn't taking in the present moment, right? And then towards the last end of our marriage and the last couple of years with my kids, I really was practicing being present. They're not going to be this young forever, like all of that. And I started to feel more and more happy. And that had nothing to do with my marriage or anything. That was just me appreciating what I had in that moment, right? And and I loved my career. I loved what I was doing. I still love what I'm doing. I mean, they're virtually the same thing. But yeah, being able to just be happy with where I am. So I mean, that's half of the conversation of being stuck is, are you unhappy because you're just not being grateful for the moment you've been given and that you have in this moment?
There's a piece to that. Okay. If we don't practice gratitude every day, then chances are they're not aware of, if we're not practicing our gratitude, then we're probably not thinking how grateful we are. We got to think about it. Yeah.
Right. So my question for you in terms of being unstuck, is it, I'm in this rat race, and yes, everybody that we know is doing going to the corporate job, coming home, drinking a few drinks, twittering and TikToking and numbing out and distracting and going to bed and rinse and repeat.
Yep.
So we're not happy, or is it that we're not actually being present to the experience that we're having, or are we really just completely out of alignment with what's going to make us come alive? Yes, all of it.
All of it. See, that's the thing. There's no exact, I don't think there's a specific formula for anybody to just kind of like snap out of this and suddenly get it. But for me, it was a combination of things, right? Number one, I had to realize I'm unhappy and own that.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. I have all of this stuff around me. Okay. It hasn't been doing it for me. Something
and it's okay
is
to have all of the things and still be unhappy.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's I think where we all get messed is we start getting down on ourselves because we feel like we're not okay to feeling unhappy. Like that's wrong. Like we shouldn't be feeling unhappy. It's feel it. I know, right? Okay, we made choices. It didn't light us up, and so we're now surrounded by the results of all of our choices. So we still get to make more choices.
Oh, there's more?
There's more.
There's more life? There's more time?
There's more. And we look outside of ourselves for other people to fill us up. And one of my big ahas that I've learned is that everything that I see about other people, that I admire about the people around me, they're all my mirrors. It's all me, right? If there's something that somebody's just this great speaker, this great leader, I have the capacity to do all of those things. If I see that in other people and I can spot it, then I got it. Conversely, all the bad things too, like if people really irritate the shit out of me, there's something there for me to unpack, right? Self-awareness is the first piece, and knowing that there is absolutely nothing outside of me that can fill that up. It can spark joy, and it can, bring out the best in me and all of the things, but all of those emotions, all that love, all that happiness, all of it, like I am the manifester of that.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day, that we always say you don't pour from an empty cup, or put your mask on first, or whatever stupid thing. It never landed for me because I'm like, I'm a mother. There's not a chance in hell I'm going to put my mask on first before I try to save my kid, right?
Right.
Like in that scenario. But I saw it framed a different way the other day. That was a guy on TikTok talking about his favorite psalm or passage in the Bible or whatever, and it says something about the cup runneth over and you pour into others. And his therapist said, did you know that it doesn't actually say pour in there anywhere?
Right.
And
we added the word pour.
We added the word pour. Like, she's like, the cup is stationary, and when it fills, the overflowing is what gets poured into others. And I was like, like it was just like a big aha moment for me. That and so, which brings you, the part of you is the aligning, and the other part is the self-love thing that you like. So how, that question I'm always asking myself is, what would make me, what would make Emily happy today?
So the interesting thing is, for decades I've done all this self-work, and I've been trying to get all these routines of self-care and these rituals of having this morning and doing all my meditations and my reading and all this kind of stuff, and then the evening time having similar things and getting ready for my gratitude and all this kind of stuff, and it would never stick.
Yeah.
Anybody start a New Year's resolution? I'm gonna do all this stuff and do diet,
I've got a journaling,
exercise,
and I'm supposed to ice bath every morning and all the things.
Right.
They all make me feel better when I do them.
Right.
But then why don't I continue to do them?
Correct. Interesting.
It is interesting. I do love ice bathing though. I'll do that like 5 or 6 times a week.
Right. Well, I found out I have a comfort zone for feeling like shit.
Oh.
So here's one that people don't talk about. Ever
I'm looking away.
I know,
looking away.
Right? Ever wonder why we keep rolling back and we do the things that feel good, and then we stop doing them, and the little voice is like, if only you'd just do those things, you'd feel good again. Yeah, I'm not listening. Why do we stay feeling like shit? Like what is that?
Because I feel like I deserve it.
Right?
I guess. I don't know.
Not
but
worthy?
I'm trying to move on of all of this, and I'm like, I should be in mourning for the rest of my life.
I figured out that it's not that it's a good comfort zone. I'm not saying that it's like,
I don't like it.
No. But it's our routine, and it's what we're used to. So we always go back to what's familiar. Me being sad is what's familiar. I've been sad my whole life. Like, a lot of people may see this happy, smiley, Courtney's just awesome and she's Miss Positivity all the fuck. No, I'm not.
You're like the Robin Williams, right? The happiest person that's super depressed.
There you go.
Yeah.
As happy as it seems
I
on the
thought about that
outside,
this morning.
how dark does it go on the inside?
I thought about that exact thing this morning, that I was just like, and we're going to go put on the show. And I'm like, Anna's super sad inside.
Right. So all the shadow work that I've done this year with Nancy Levin, go to nancylevin.com, check out her podcast. She's amazing.
Did her work too. That
Holy
was good.
cow. I've done her shadow work twice, 2 of the 8-week shadow sessions. And in there, basically, she talks about like what we suppress and what we hide and what's way deep down in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We overcompensate for that.
Oh.
I don't want people to know how sad and dark and dreaky it is in here. So what comes out is the exact opposite of that. And that's what people see.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I did one session one course with Nancy, and that actually the happiness and the what do you want thing came.
The desire.
The desire was really hard for me.
Very hard.
Whatever story I've told myself about whatever happened in my childhood or whatever, like what I want doesn't matter.
Right.
What makes me happy isn't important.
Right.
You got to do the thing to achieve the goal.
Right.
Because that's what we do.
Right.
Right. So what you want and happiness, those weren't part of the equation.
So this comes full circle. So what do you do when you know you're stuck and you're in a business or in a career that you're supposed to keep doing it, right? You got a family, you got all these bills and shit,
Right.
like you got all these obligations. I got to make this amount of money to maintain my standard of living. Don't know what else I'm going to do. I'm standing on the head of a pin with like infinite possibilities of what I could do. How the hell do I pick something?
Yeah.
How do I know? Do I want to go like join the Peace Corps? I thought about doing that when I was in high school. Like I wanted to be a biotechnologist. Like I wanted to go be an archaeologist. Like I wanted to do all these things when I was a little kid. All those little special interests. Insert autism. That's a whole nother thing. We could have a whole nother podcast on that.
Okay.
And so I have all these special interests and things that I nerd out on and that I am like totally geeky about. And those are my hobbies and stuff. But I'm like, okay, so like what am I going to do for a business? I don't know. I can't see it. I couldn't see it.
Right. It doesn't have to be business, just for income.
Right.
Right.
And it's interesting. So years ago, like the little voice, if anybody has the little voice, get to know your little voice, y'all. It's there for you. Like there's just when it tells you to grab the underwear or the extra pair of socks for whatever reason, just get the shit before you leave. Don't ask questions. Just put it in your purse. Just grab the stuff.
Right.
Little voice says, you're not going to figure it out until you stop doing all this insurance stuff. I'm like, what? Like, like, I need to be able to make money. Like, this doesn't compute. Like, what do you mean? And so, but I knew that because so much of my bandwidth, so much of my headspace was in this insurance business. So I had to downsize. Mm-hmm. I knew that had to happen to create space to be able to figure out what the next thing was going to be. Now, this was my journey. I'm not saying everybody else has got to like sell 3/4 of their business, but for me, that was the choice that I made. I knew I was not meant to do this for forever. So when am I going to take some steps and start unpacking to start figuring out what else?
Right, and I'm going to pause for just real fast. For the people who aren't owning a business, that are in the corporate rat wheel or you know, working the hourly paycheck thing, I appreciate that we all have the same 24 hours,
Correct.
Right? And you and I and everybody, if you get real honest with yourself, you got a lot of time sitting around doing a lot of nada.
Oh yeah.
Okay, check out how much time you spend on your phone or on your TikTok or on
that
your
screen
Facebook.
time.
There's
thing.
screen time. It'll tell
I don't
on
want to
you.
look at
Go
it. But,
check
oh
it.
my
Go
God.
check it, and then come back to me and tell me I don't have time to start it or to figure it out, or I don't have time to take a course, or I don't have bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit is all I'm going to say.
Yep. That is bullshit. That's
the
the
story
you're telling yourself. Yep.
That's bullshit to keep you exactly where you are. So either own it or do something about it.
Correct. Right. This is the self-awareness piece of just like let's
so when you
own our shit. We don't have to judge ourselves for these choices. Let's just
there's no judgment.
And
it's just
choices.
Here's the deal: if you're not going to do anything about it, then shut up about it and learn how to be happy and grateful and where you are, or figure out where. Own it and then do something about it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any room for middle ground here.
No, not really. You have to make new decisions to do new things. And even if you don't want to just go enroll in a new college course or whatever, for me, it was all inner work.
Watch
Like,
this shit
in
for free on
order-
YouTube,
I
bro.
mean,
like,
there's a bajillion podcasts. There's a million coaches out there. There's all this free stuff
Right.
that you can do and engage in. Books for days. I mean, if you haven't picked up a self-development, I don't read fiction. I just don't, because I don't need that to check out. Like,
your dining room table is ridiculous with the amount of books you have sitting.
don't judge my stack of. Everybody's like, hey, you need to read this book. It's going to get in line. I can only read like 2 books at a time. But yeah, the amount of information that I've been bringing in that helps me like dissect all of this. Why do I do the things that I do? Like, we got to look at ourselves.
That's
like,
the tism you got going on right
well,
there.
probably so.
I have a
right?
question. So, and if you could think your way through this, you would have by now.
Yeah, there's no yes.
So
If I could have logically found my answer, it would have been found.
Right. So are we feeling our way through this time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is where getting in tune with the intuition, right? So the more self-work that I've done, and choose your own adventure. I keep hitting this mic. Hopefully it's not making sound. Whether you want to engage in a workshop, we have a 7-day challenge happening right now with Who's in Your Room. That's like got 800 people around the world, more than that actually.
From the comfort of your home on Facebook.
On Facebook even, yes. Like from your phone. You don't even have to get off the couch. 15, 20 minutes a day. Like there's so many things that folks can do to just do something different. Learn about yourself. The more I started learning about myself, so here's the part 2 piece, right? Self-care. All those little daily activities, like you said, that have us feeling good, whether it's working out or going for a walk or playing with our kids or our dogs or whatever that is. Like these little micro doses of all the good endorphins and dopamines and all the good things, right? That have us feeling good. But there's more to it than that.
Okay, what is it?
The second part is support.
Okay.
And I don't mean friends. You talk about the top 5, right? Your people that you surround yourself with and how important that is. But it's more than that. It's the community in your life. And what I noticed was that the people that light me up are the people that are also interested in growing and being the best versions of themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like all of
Once
the best
you start
friends
on this path.
On the self-love, self-discovery, this journey, right? That's when things start appearing and answers start coming.
PSA, be prepared that if you walk this journey on the others, it is a beautiful and amazing and gratitude, happiness, joy-filled experience, but you will lose people along the way.
Yes. And that's sad, and that's part of a lot of the reason why I have resisted doing all of this work, because I know the change that comes when I quit drinking all those years ago. My entire world changed. Everybody that we hung out with and socialized with, like the interests were just not the same anymore. And my bubble had to change. Right? But now I'm surrounding myself with people who elevate me, they inspire me, they help me to see my next thing. I really wasn't going to figure out my next thing without that support piece and the mirrors around me. So I'll give you an example. My new friend Rusty, that I met through Isaac, and the 3 of us were founding the Kaizen Collective. And my first one-to-one that I had with Rusty, he was like, so what do you really want to do with your life? And I'm like, well, honestly, I just want to travel the world and pick up trash on beaches. That's what I want to do. But how do you make money doing that? Like, I was still stuck, right? Still not seeing it. And he's like, really? Have you ever thought about being a coach? And I'm like, no, just wasn't on my radar. Wasn't something I had considered. He's like, because I could totally see you on a coach, like coaching people on a beach and hosting a retreat and picking up trash and coaching them on their head trash. And I'm like, holy shit, that's brilliant, dude. Like, I could totally do that. Like, all my years of planning B&I galas and food truck journeys across the country and all this stuff. Like, my planning skills are ace, man. Like, I could totally plan a retreat and change people's lives and still get to pick up trash on beaches all around the world. What? Like, and I wouldn't have had that epiphany and started my journey of now I'm going to become this connector and life catalyst, because that's my new thing with Aligned and Alive, and helping people find their alignment, right? Wouldn't have, if I hadn't engaged in the self-development work with Isaac and Who's in Your Room, and then did the shadow work with Nancy, meeting Rusty, like all of these new connections that started happening. This is how the life starts shifting, and the universe just starts dumping people. When you start working on yourself and figuring out how to love ourselves, your gifts start coming, dude.
Right.
It's magic.
You lose a lot of people along the way. However, the people that get replaced or that come into your life are, I mean, you talk about real relationships, real connections, real
values aligned.
Yes. That they like to be surrounded by an entire community of people who just want the best for you, the best version of you. And I don't mean that from like your mom's surface level type stuff. I'm talking about how can I help you? How can I genuinely support you in finding what's going to make you happy and support you in that is just, it's something I want for every single person on the planet, because I know not enough people get it. Yeah. Like most people don't have one person that has that kind of depth of feeling for them.
Right.
And
for folks that have no family, like I have so many friends, they have no family, no parents, no siblings, like no extended family, like they're on their own, right? And even people that do have a big family but feel like a total outcast for whatever reasons, rejected by your family, not aligned with your family, whatever, this need for belonging is like a human, like...
Yeah, it's ingrained
in us. And we don't thrive if we're not around the community that we're meant to be around.
Right.
And I've learned that so many of my friends, I mean, I've got locally, I have you, I have a lot of friends that are here, but a lot of my very closest five, they don't even live in this state. Like, right? And so,
and that's the beautiful thing as you start to walk this path. You just take one door into the next door, into the next relation. Like take that one, you have no idea where it's going to take you, but just take the introduction and see how it goes. Lean into it.
Yep.
And have the conversation, explore the thing, and then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I mean,
maybe your algorithm might throw something in front of you to like watch this thing, take this free course, whatever. Like, lean into it. You know,
check it out.
If it weren't for Buddy inviting me to this challenge last December with Who's in Your Room, I never.
You would have never met Rusty or Isaac or anything.
None of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if not for
Buddy. We're gonna have Buddy on.
Buddy, yes. Gosh, I can't wait for him to come on the show. He's meant for radio, I'm telling you. But yeah, Buddy, he was education coordinator in our BNI chapter at the time, and got the email and said, "Hey, did you see this email?" I'm like, "No, I totally missed it," because we get so many emails.
Right.
I'm like, "No, I totally missed it." And he's like, "Yeah, check this out and do this with me," and I did. Fell in love with it. Like, realized that there's people around the world that want to cultivate their life and figure out their values and have a life of boundaries and, you know, aligning with the people that light us up. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is cool. So I just leaned right into all of that and signed up for the next course and the mastery and everything that went along with it. And OMG, like, yeah, the self-work that comes when you just do a little something. Anybody can go to my Facebook page right now and just see all of this. I have posts about it and everything, so you can check it out. I'll be talking about Who's in Your Room like all year. And by the way, the bit of community that I have found, a lot of ladies that I've talked to in the last year are really looking for that belonging bit. That if you don't have really close friends in your workspace, if you don't have like a church group or some other outside social ring that you hang out in, where do people make friends anymore?
Right. Like, yeah, no, I mean, I had said that about networking, right? And figuring that out. Like, I had moved here after high school, after college. Like, I didn't know anybody. Like, and without professional networking, I wouldn't have any of the people that I have in my life now. I mean, but other than if you don't have that, if you're not doing that through your work, I have no idea. Yeah. And I'm excited because I've got a guest, Mark McKay, coming on that is going to talk about the epidemic that I'm going to call it an epidemic that we have with the men.
Yeah.
Like, women are really, I think, a lot easier because we are more vulnerable, we are more emotional, we want to chit chat and share, and we connect at a faster pace and all of the things. And the men in the world, bless your hearts, is all I'm going to say, because I'm in the South. They need people. They desperately need people.
And to no fault of their own, our centuries of programming.
Correct.
That, men aren't supposed to feel or be vulnerable or, be afraid or whatever. It's all bullshit.
And they have no mentors, by the way.
Right. They just stuff it. Like, so, we all mask. It's terrible. We all need to stop doing it, because nobody's living an authentic life, and we're all struggling and unhappy and anxious as fuck, because we all just want to be accepted and loved and feel belonging. But why is it so fucking hard? Well, because nobody's being their real authentic self, because we're too busy being judged. And too busy judging ourselves. So shocker, everybody's judging McJudgerton walking the fuck around, and nobody's happy. And P.S. Love is the answer.
You just said all of the things. Like, you just summed up all the things. See, I told you we solve all the world's problems at lunch, and that's why you just nailed all of it.
It's funny. I told Mark this morning, I feel like I'm this modern day mutant alien Jesus in an atheist body. That's kind of what I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm just all about preaching the love and compassion just to the whole world. And as soon as we all start figuring out how to love ourselves.
Right. That is the key, because as you said, like, we're walking around with all the judgy stuff or whatever, and I'm happy to report that nobody is thinking about you.
Yeah.
Nobody is thinking about you because they're too busy thinking about themselves.
Correct.
And what you're thinking about them. And so what you're thinking that somebody's looking at you about your shirt or your haircut or your whatever, nobody's even noticing it because they're too worried about the thing in their teeth or the lipstick or the whatever they're wearing or how fat they are or whatever is going on in people's minds.
Yeah.
So nobody's thinking about you.
No. I hate to tell you, you're not that important in everybody else's minds. Yeah.
Right.
But we all worry about that.
We do. That's the
And
program.
how much energy does that take?
I know.
Oh my God. Why don't we have enough energy to figure out what we're meant to do with the rest of this life? Because we're too busy fucking judging ourselves and judging everybody else. And I digress. Anyway.
It's fine. I just can't wait to cut what you just said and make it a whole thing. Like, it's going to be...
The self-love bit, y'all, I'm serious. So my whole self-love discovery, and it's just, it's really interesting.
I want to talk a little bit about self-love, and I want to dispel, first of all, let's talk about, it's not bubble baths and candlelight and massages and all that bullshit that we've been taught to think of what self-care
those things are nice.
They are nice.
And you should treat yourself. Yes, you should.
You
should, right?
What does daily self-love look like? You have a checklist.
Well, I do have a checklist, and it has a lot of those items on there.
Okay.
Right? Like your gratitude moments, your I am affirmation statements. It's almost like a little, checklist. Now, I shared that checklist with some people, and they're like, holy shit, you expect me to do all that in a day?
Yeah.
No, not really, okay? Because how much of it are we doing right now? None of it. Really? Like, we're not getting enough sleep. We're not eating nutritious food all the time. Like, we eat garbage, right? Like, we don't do it all, and we don't do it all perfectly. May never will. It's okay. The idea is to just add a little bit more of that to your life. Like, here's an option, a list of things, right, that you can do. Now, for me, the self-love piece looks like being in full awareness and presence of everything that I am and everything that I think, and taking ownership of it, because it's all in me, right? And knowing that my perception of myself is what I am in the world. So how I talk to myself.
That's a big one.
That's the huge one. Check that bitch all the time.
I actually was just talking to Charlotte about this the other day. She said something, like, totally jokingly, something about, whatever, like, she wanted to die or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was very jokingly, and I had to stop her right in her tracks, and I said, listen, we're not going to talk like that. And she didn't like the way my tone I used, and I just said, we're not going to talk like that. That's ugly. And I almost moved on from it. And I stopped her, and I said, Charlotte, let me explain to you why it is that we don't do that. I go, I know that you were trying to be funny, and I know that you were joking. Do you want to die? And she said, no, I don't. And I said, good. The more you say stuff like that to yourself, if you say it long enough, eventually your heart is going to believe it, and so is your brain. Yeah. And so we only say things to ourselves that we want our heart and our brain to believe. It's so much easier to coach her than it is myself,
right?
By the
What's
way.
that? Yeah, man, good showing up, Mom. Yeah, turn that around and tell yourself that, right?
Right.
Take my advice, right?
Do what I say, not what I do.
Being aware of that is an act of self-love.
Okay.
Really, truly.
Yeah.
How I show up for others, right? And I'm not talking about just like giving so that I feel good.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Receiving is self-love.
People have a real problem with that.
Right? Because, I'm good. I don't need this. Like, or they reject compliments or whatever. Now, and here's like the flip of that coin, because you don't want all the external validation to
Yeah.
be seeking that to fill you up. We're not looking for all the likes on Facebook and all of the, atta girls and all this kind of stuff to fill your cup. But don't reject it either, because
I'm having a real hard time with that right now.
To be able to accept that somebody sees something good in ourselves. This is that mirror action I'm going on, right? So if somebody is paying us a compliment or giving us some positive feedback or even constructive feedback, right? It's be open to that. Listen to that, right? This is a mirror saying something good or something helpful for us, right? Take it or leave it, but take it. Like, don't, what am I trying to say? I think in thoughts better than I think in words.
Right. My coach used to say, Jessica, she would just say, I received that.
Yes, I received that. I like that.
I received that.
I don't know that.
I don't know. I would just thought every time I would compliment her, like, I couldn't get through without you. And she's like, I received that. That was what she would say.
I love that.
Not thank you, not.
Because that, I want to talk about another great book. Oh, the first book I ever read that woke me up, y'all, The 4 Agreements.
Oh, it's a great book.
The 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
It is a very short read.
Yep.
And it is
keeping yourself locked in your own personal hell.
Profound. Don't take things personally.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Can receive it, right? Thank you. I received that. Because if it's gushy, like if I am using that external feedback to raise my self-worth, that's taking it personally. So I love that book because it's obviously people think, well, don't take insults personally, right? If somebody says something negative to you or being abusive, don't take that personally. But it's also don't take the good things personally also.
Right.
Because that's someone else's, what they're seeing, their reflection of themselves, that they're just telling us what they see in themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I zoom out and I look at all, I know, I'm like really looking at all of the humans like, yeah.
There's the alien part of me.
There's the alien part of me. Yeah, that's where I'm zooming out. And I just see what we do. But it's fascinating to me in how loud that inner voice is, how long it's been there, how many of us really don't even think about how cruel and mean it is.
I had to talk to my son about that. Like, hey, just so you know, that voice that's talking to you, it's not really you.
Right.
It blew his mind. He was like 8 years old at the time when I told him that, and he was like, "What do you mean?" I go, "I have one too. That bitch's name is Becky. Fucking hate her. Sorry.
Bitch has a name.
Yes, she does. And so we named Elam's and everything, and I'm like, that's not you. Like that is he's like all that ugly stuff that it's saying to you, that is not you thinking that about yourself. And he was just mind blown that was even possible. Like it was separate from him. He doesn't like he's too young to understand like the separation of how we got there. We'll dig into that. Anyways. I'm just going to leave that on that shelf over there. But nonetheless, yes, it's not really you.
No. You are what knows that it's there. I know, right? Oh, man, getting all deep with it and shit.
That's
so
true.
Wild. Like, if I can be aware, if I'm aware that the voice is there, and so here's one of my self-love things. Right?
Okay, before we get there, did you actually know, fun fact, did you know that they have done studies that the voice in your head, like there is a 7-second gap between, there's an MRI research study that was done that they see the thought pattern of your thought, and then if you were to actually like try and say it, that there is a gap there that proves that it's not really you. And that you have to identify that it's being talked to you, that it's talking to you. I'll have to find the research for you.
Interesting.
But yes,
like the thought downloads and then it comes out your mouth. Like there is
a space there for you, for your brain, for actually you to recognize that it didn't come from you. The fact that you can hear it means that it didn't come from you.
Cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's dope.
I know. I'll have to send it to you.
Oh, that's so cool.
So on self-love.
Yeah. So
leave these guys with a nugget.
Yeah. Act in ways so the voice has nothing to say.
Ooh. Say that again.
Act in ways so the voice has nothing to say. So the voice that usually says, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, yada, 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 not doing enough, all of these things, right? First of all, if there's some things that we're supposed to be doing that we keep procrastinating on, like Eat That Frog, The One Thing, like those are some other great books, right? You're going to feel great when you knock out the thing. right? So the nagging voice that's always like, oh, I got to do this thing, and then you procrastinate and put it off. Well, you're just giving yourself more shit to beat up on yourself.
Right. I've been practicing the last 2 years. This is a super simple application of, but I've been doing it, and I'm a messy person. I'm a messy.
I have doom piles. Yeah.
Right.
ADHD. It happens.
I know. But I've been walking that trash that you walk by, like that little piece of the envelope that's on the kitchen floor from opening mail or whatever the thing is, right? Or there's that trash that little something that didn't make it all the way. I've just been picking it up and taking it to the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know that sounds super simple, but like that's the thing that you should be doing, right? Like I should.
Otherwise, you just come up walking and you just keep seeing. And every time you see it, you think, "Fuck, I need to pick that up," and then you just keep on walking. And every time you see, "Fuck, more spoons. I should do something with this."
Right.
And
Like if you or like instead of putting the spoon in the sink, I just put it in the dishwasher where it's supposed to go to make my life easier. And I'm like, just do the thing the right way the first time. Put the keys back where they go so we don't have to lose them. Like, and so I've been trying to work on that, and that I like. Think that it goes. That is for me self-love.
Yes, right.
To make my life easier, because then I'm not hating on my family for not picking up the trash, and I'm not yelling at people because I can't find the keys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody will say like, well, somebody should do something about that. Fuck, I'm somebody.
I am the somebody.
I'm the somebody. Yeah.
I just don't want to be the only somebody.
Well,
now I am, and that's okay.
But you know what? Hey, I'm discovering the satisfaction that comes at the end of the day. For starters, we first have to realize that we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves. So if your to-do list is too fucking long, don't beat yourself up at the end of every day for not getting it all done.
There should only be 3 things on it anyway.
Yeah.
Seriously, the top 3 things that have to get done this day, everything else is bullshit. Extra. We'll get it done today. Yeah. We'll get it done tomorrow. There should be 3 things on your to-do list so that you can walk away feeling accomplished. And if there's room or energy or bandwidth for the rest of the day, we'll do those other things.
That's self-love.
That's self-love.
That is self-love. Doing the thing. Just do the fucking, this is our life. Every day that we get is a motherfucking gift and a blessing. And if we don't think about the miracle of all this, we are thinking, feeling, eating, sleeping, shitting, fucking bits of stardust floating on a rock in the middle of space. I mean, like, when you really zoom out and think about this moment, the fact that we're sharing this blip of a time on a podcast in all of the space-time continuum, like, what are the odds of this?
I know, but we're talking, I mean, like, there's 2, like, today is a miracle and we are a miracle. Just the fact that we are here is a miracle.
Right.
All the way to we are so insignificant, we are dust, right? Like, we've got there's a big spectrum of everything in the middle.
There really is. So what do we do? Knowing this, that we're so insignificant and we're just a blip in the middle of nowhere, what's the point? To me, the point is to figure out how to love ourselves, because that's how we enjoy this blip. That is the point, right? I said it this morning, like, to me the answer is so simple. Love is so simple. What do all the religions in the world say? They all kind of say the same thing.
Sure.
Right? Love your neighbor, love yourself, love the world, love spirit, love everything, right? Love, 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 love. It's because we're supposed to love ourselves. Like, that's just, to me, it's so simple. And if we can figure out as a species, this is my whole full circle thing and why I'm so passionate about this and figuring out what it is that I'm here to do. And it's to help people figure out how to love themselves. Because once that happens, everything else falls into place. My Howard Thurman quote, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and do that. Because what the world needs is people who've come alive.
Yeah.
Right? Aliveness, to me, looks like self-love, knowing my purpose, my ikigai. What am I here to do that incorporates my passion, my love, my hobbies, my profession, my vocation, like all of that one central thing. Like, how do I do what I'm here to do with this human existence and still be able to survive and make money and, all that kind of stuff. I'm figuring that out.
Right.
As we speak, like literally building the plane as I'm flying it right now with my new business.
But you are alive.
But I'm alive.
Yeah, you are. Look at you. You are the world's greatest miracle.
How you like them apples?
How do you like that? Ogmandino.
You are a rarity. Yes, we are.
Yes,
we are. Everybody is. And the sooner that we realize that, and the miracle of like each of us, and the fact that we all got this, like I said, this one ride, this one journey. The point is to enjoy it. And it's really hard to enjoy it when we let that bitch up here kind of run the show and has us feeling all kind of certain ways and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I can't name them all. I got too many characters.
So I've also tried the boardroom.
Yes, the boardroom.
Whenever, like if I imagine like the boardroom is everybody is screaming and whatever, and at some point the adult in the room, the leader of the room, has to stand up and go, "Okay, everybody, time out.
Yeah,
everybody go back to your cubicle.
Right.
Thank you for your input. As the CEO, I will determine what's best. Right? Like you have to have a boardroom.
Yeah. And you're not crazy.
You're not crazy.
You're not crazy?
I did have a therapist ask me that once. So, like, talk to me about these voices. And I'm like, they're not like those kind of voices. They're just, there's a lot of things going through my brain at any given time.
Right.
She's like, oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Should have verified.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I want to help people do. The alignment bit. So I'm also a certified alignment guide with Infinite Impact.
Yes.
One of my big to-dos this year. So back in May, Amber Vilhauer published her first book, Infinite Impact. And it's all about being aligned in your business, and it was a business book essentially to how to get your message to your audience, your one specific person that you're meant to help in your business.
Yes,
right?
Sarah.
Mine's Sabrina, and this is a real person, y'all. And for me, anytime I gift the book to anybody, I meant to bring a copy of it. I totally forgot. But I write in the insert of it, and it says, for your books and business, and it's also for your life. For me. I didn't want to figure out what my ideal insurance avatar was. That's not why I started reading the book. Like for me, I'm like, no, I have this new life and this new vision, and I want to help people and help them get unstuck and help them with their head trash and do all these things. But who's the one person that I'm meant to help? And that process of getting in alignment and figuring out my vision of what I'm here to do, who I'm here to help, and the biggest piece out of that for me was the why. A lot of people will say, well, why do you do what you do? Well,
Right.
I want to help people. No. That's your vision. You want to help people. The why is the reciprocity. What does it do for you?
Right, okay.
And I'm not talking money.
Right.
We got success, we got the business, we got the kids, we checked all the boxes, and it doesn't make us happy. Guess what? Because it's not fulfilling your why. And people don't know what their why is. Yeah.
Most people's why, I would assume, because my gut reaction, right, is because I don't know, because I got to do something.
Right.
What do I get?
It's a whole process.
What do I get in return? What I get is validation.
Validation.
Yeah. When I help others and I see their business succeed, I'm like, I did that.
Right.
That was part of that. Same reason I like to save men.
Well, that's a whole nother thing we can unpack there. But no. It's by whatever it is, by doing what we do, the impact that we have on other people, whatever the result, and it's different for everybody. So for some people, it's to be seen and heard. For some people, it's to be accepted. For some people, it's belonging.
I'm trying to look at it from not negative side, right? Like, and I said it in a negative way, but I think that there is something pure and authentic and honest about wanting to be able to help people find their best version of themselves. Like that is what I do. That's why I exist on this planet. And what I get out of it is watching, like you said, somebody come alive.
Right.
Like, and I just come at it from a different way than you do, but like understanding, being able to see it and push somebody to like go down this path of self-love and self-journey, like that is just right there is just the fulfillment is all I need.
Right. There's a process though to this, to unpack it, and it goes like back to childhood, and there's a journey in the book and a whole lot of reflection. So again, more the self-love, do the work on yourself. That's the self-love bit. Discover yourself. Right. The matrix, like know thyself, like that's the whole thing.
Speaking of the matrix, we had talked earlier that when the ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Right. But maybe I should have just taken the blue pill, because we can't unlearn any of these things. Right. And so once you start, it's a slippery slope of just, you don't get to, some people do. Some people do dip their toe in it, don't like it. It's real uncomfortable and real ugly.
And then back right out.
And they back right out. And quite frankly, when they get back out there, it's even worse.
Yeah. Right? Because now you know, like...
You know you shouldn't be doing... Now that voice is... That whole
really
acting
loud.
is really loud. You know you shouldn't be doing this.
Right?
You know you're acting out of alignment with your core values and what you've been taught, and it becomes real ugly.
Watch that gambling and shopping and drinking stuff at that point, because then it might just really it gets so loud, then you really got to muffle that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that was the big thing that I learned, was being out of alignment, chasing success, having 4 businesses, busy, to feel enough, to feel successful, to be accepted. All of this, it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit. Do you know what my why is?
What is your why?
To love. When I help individuals discover their self-love, it unlocks what makes them come alive. And by helping people, when I help people and they and I see the shift, and I start seeing, and they start sharing things, and then they start telling me things like all of this stuff is happening, and and it's so wonderful, it's amazing, and it's like that blows my fucking heart out of my chest. When I start seeing people love themselves more, that is everything. Like that's my whole reason for being here. Like it totally is.
Well, you do it every single time that I am with you, and I know that you spread so much love. If you guys want love from Courtney, because it is life changing, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, I am so easy to get in touch with. So I am on the socials. You can find me on Facebook. That's my primary one. I'm also on Instagram. I just got on the TikToks.
Love the TikToks.
Oh my God, I've been resisting it for years because I knew it was going to be like, and there's such crazy shit on TikTok. Oh my gosh, my mind's blown with what's on TikTok. Like I can't even. But I'm there.
I love that you're just now having this experience.
Shut up. I'm Gen X. I'm resistant to all these things. Anyway.
I know, but now you're great. Okay, so the TikTok.
Yeah, so I'm on
Facebook.
the TikToks, and I'm figuring that out. And on the Facebook. And so my Facebook page, Aligned and Alive, you can find me there. Just search Courtney Weidner or go to Facebook, Aligned and Alive, or the hashtag Alive and Alive. You'll find me that way. My .com, whatmakesyoucomealive.com. How about them apples?
There you go.
Whatmakesyoucomealive.com, and you will find our workshop that I'm doing with Buddy McMahon, who brought me to this whole world this year, and his new business, The Way Out. He and I are partnering up, and we're going to start putting on a quarterly workshop. The first one is Monday, January the 13th. It's going to be on Zoom, so we can reach more people.
From the comfort of your couch.
From your own couch.
Don't even have to go anywhere.
And we're doing this by donation.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing a different kind of business model because it's like, you know what? We don't want people to not get the help because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Typically, the people who need it can't.
Right? My ground level Sabrina, she's broke as fuck, and she's stretched further than paycheck to paycheck. Like, she really cannot spend the extra money right now, but she got $1. Right. And she can pay $1 on the website. Like, you can choose your own amount. If you don't want to pick one of the amounts that we've suggested, you can choose your own amount, pay $1. And tune in with us for 2 hours, and we're going to look at the scripts that you're telling yourself, and we're going to rewrite some of that shit.
Oh, good, cool. I'm gonna come to that.
It's gonna be amazing.
I'm super excited.
Super pumped. Yeah.
Oh, we could do this all afternoon.
I
know. So I'll have you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. This has been the best.
I was stuck this morning, and now I'm not, and it's all because just sitting with you. So thank you so much for being here. I love you so much.
I love you, babe. This has been
all right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. This was Watch Me with Emily Galindo. We'll see you next week. Find us. Don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Spotify, TikTok, whatever works for you. We'd love to see you. See you next week.